The greatest passer videos I've seen, that ball going all the way around, and you would still have enough time to get your step back in. I tell you. I want to give a shout out to heaven for this particular reaction, because when I looked at the title, Accidental Basketball, and I don't like to watch these ahead of time. I like to react with you all for the first time. So I plugged the title in Google search, and it's a term that Kobe Bryant touched on, accidental basketball. Just think about that. And it really resonated with me because it's something that I have argued about on this channel, especially as it relates to my Hawks. Trae Young loved to come down that court and jack up them threes. It just gets on my nerves. Run a play. Come on in here, let's talk about it. What it do, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. While you in here, hit that like, comment, subscribe, notification bell so you'll be notified every time Her Takes uploads a new video. I'm excited about this video. When I Googled it and saw that what it was going to be about, I got excited. Everything that I've been frustrated about on this channel as it relates to my Hawks and the NBA today was in that little description that I Google searched. I'm probably gonna put it up right here. But it was in there and I was like, oh, this is what I need to be reacting to right here. Because I totally agree with it. I'm always like, run a play. All they want to do is come down, jack up threes. And I get what Kobe's talking about. Like, my God, these guys, they just want to come, jack up an easy three, point guard dribbling down. First thing you're going to do, call for that pick. Want to pick and roll. The big man just want to roll off and go get an easy lob or dunk. Break some ankles. Get to the rack. Do some shot creation. These are the things that I feel like it's just so true how we fell off in the NBA. It's just not fun to watch anymore. It is really not. Not gonna keep running my mouth. Just remember, when you come to this channel, it's Her Takes. It's not a reaction channel. So I might talk about it a little bit. Before we get into the reaction, I might have a little stuff to say. I threw that out there for the little comments that I have seen about me talking. So anyway, the last thing I want to point out before we get into this reaction is 81.6 of you who are watching this channel are not subscribed. You're returning and you're watching, but you probably just forgot, because I have caught myself a lot. Content creators that I really like and I watch them all the time and they're fed to me because I watch them, and all of a sudden I might look and notice, oh, I never subscribed. So take a peek, make sure you're subscribed so we can keep this movement going. All right, so let's jump into Uncut Hoops. Accidental basketball ruined the NBA. I think he's on to something. Let's see what's up with it.
It's like these players now play accidental basketball, and it drives me and Phil crazy because it's all penetrating pitch. You may make the shot, you may not. You have no idea who's going to be open or whatever. It's accidental basketball. We play basketball with purpose.
The game of basketball is pretty simple if the ball's moving.
Sure.
Now, the point guard can do whatever he wants to. They sit dribble from one side to the other, back foot. But he's an initiator, and if he gets that ball moving, that ball's moving, everybody feels a part of it. It doesn't matter where it ends up because it's always going to end up to the best player. You know? Sometimes that always happens. But
Ball has energy.
That's right, and you get that ball moving, and good things happen all the time. It's a pretty simple game if you play it the right way.
Now, let that sink in what Larry just said. You know, the point guard is the initiator. The point guard is the one that's supposed to be initiating the game, not ball dominant. You know, there's a lot of ball dominant point guards in the game. And it's just no longer fun to watch one person have the ball, dribble between the leg behind the back, dribble. Like, come on. Share the ball. Move the ball around. You should still, in 24 seconds, you should be able to see how fast Larry them be moving that ball around. The greatest passer videos I've seen, that ball going all the way around, and you would still have enough time to get your step back in. I tell you.
When it comes to the greatest teams in NBA history, many would look at the 2017 Warriors, 01 Lakers, especially the 96 Bulls, as all those teams were historically dominant and great in their respective era. Now, like most debates, looking at the greatest team, greatest players, greatest anything, it is very, very subjective and opinion-based. But looking at all those teams, if you love team basketball on both ends, great passing and defense, there's two teams historically that personify both those traits. First up, 2014 Spurs, led by Tim Duncan, and secondly, the Boston Celtics in 1986, led by Larry Bird.
Celtics running. They have a chance here. 4-on-2. Bird to pass.
Wait. I won't go back because I'm just curious. How many passes was that? 1, 2, 3. And he really had time for one more. He did. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful.
Boston 2-on-1, and the web is back. Bird is on Lloyd now, doubling on Sampson and taking the ball away. 3-on-1 for the Boston.
Back to him again. How many charges do we get today because they don't take that extra pass? Trying to go get it themselves, want to posterize somebody when there's probably someone trailing right there that they can dish it to real quick. But everybody want that viral moment. They want to posterize and just I don't get it. I don't get it.
If you want to talk the greatest passing teams of all time, the 86 Celtics 2014 Spurs are on a very short list. I was looking at both their lineups. There wasn't just one great passer, one great playmaker. I was looking at 1 through 5. All their players are capable passers who can make the right play at any moment. And for a team like Boston, who are they led by? Larry Joe Bird, debatably the greatest passing forward of all time. Off the bench, you have Bill Walton, one of the greatest passing bigs the game's ever witnessed.
He was special.
When you look back at this Boston team in '86, they have the prototype of the 2014 Spurs. And compare the modern era, where it's dribble, everyone watching, pass for assist, they make it or they miss it. The 2014 Spurs 86 Celtics, everyone is involved, getting touches, and capable of making a highlight play. Now, speaking of highlights when it comes to the Celtics, their biggest highlight, biggest peak, was Game 5 of the 86 semis versus the Hawks in Boston. This game historically is never talked about. But watching the film in the third quarter, it was absolute brilliance. Boston for the quarter, 36 points. The Hawks only managed 6. Third quarter, they make history.
I remember talking to Danny about that quarter, and he described it as the perfect quarter of basketball.
When our team really wanted to, really had to, we were so special.
It was a thing of beauty.
36-6 in one quarter. Moving the ball around, getting that open man. That's going to give you extra possessions. Because you move that ball around faster, you're going to find that open man, you're going to score. It picks up the pace.
What does Mike Fratello do? He just called a bunch of timeouts. He just ran into a tsunami, and we just wiped him
1958.
off the face of the earth.
Just took all of the life out of the house. It was like we were stuck in mud. And they put on a clinic in their quarter. They really did.
Playing them at times, they would go somewhere else. And you couldn't go there. You know, you knew your team couldn't go there, and it was a humbling experience.
So, stopping that right there very quickly, the third quarter Game 5 versus the Hawks, to me personally, is the pinnacle of team basketball. As looking at the offense, outrunning the fast break, making great passes, making the extra pass to open teammates. And the flip side, vice grip defense in the paint and on the perimeter.
2 shots right on line, and both of them were kind of bouncing around the rim and just had 4 options on their offense.
Bird again to reach in. No changes for the Celtics. Dominique blocked by Bird. When the Hawks looked like they had an opportunity to run, suddenly there's 4 white shirts back there. Blocked by McHale.
It was everything that was great about the 1986 Celtics on display in full force for you.
And that's what I was about to say. I was waiting for them to finish those highlights, and then she jumped in there and really literally took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, I don't feel as bad because I know that it was more about how good the Celtics were than how bad my Hawks were, because they weren't bad. The Hawks were no scrubs, trust me. They were no scrubs. So, it just goes to show how good this squad was. Absolutely amazing.
Pace, rebounding, shooting, scoring, and again, defense. If you want to go back and look at what the 86 Celtics were all about, call up that third quarter, because that was it in a nutshell.
The only two teams in the so-called modern era who could lock it up on one end and score 35 plus on the other end were the Golden State Warriors and San Antonio Spurs. And like I said earlier, this Celtics team was the prelude to all that. And just like those teams, they could take a 10-point game, push it to 20. Take a 20-point game, push it to 30, and rest the entire fourth quarter. That two-way dominance, great team two-way dominance, is a long bar for teams, especially in the 2020s. And looking at Boston on defense, the entire Hawks roster, abysmal shooting top to bottom. Out of the entire roster, not a single player over 33% shooting for the quarter. And no single player had more than one made field goal.
Oh, that's not good.
Here's the thing, too. You see how patient Larry was? He held that ball. He wasn't trying to, get his off. He held that ball and he had a man cut easy too. And then the other piece that I noticed, I heard them saying when they mentioned the Warriors, it made me think, you don't mind Steph getting them logo threes. You don't mind Steph, getting his step back or, every now and then. Why? Because they do pass the ball around. They pass it around. They play team ball. I've always liked the way the Warriors played. I never felt bored. The problem was all these other teams that start trying to copy the Warriors, they did it the accidental basketball way. The Warriors did it the right way. And they continue to do it the right way. But yeah, those are the two things that I noticed.
Now, for some more context, the Hawks this quarter, only scoring 6 points in the third quarter, is the lowest mark ever in a single quarter in playoff history. The second lowest, ironically, Boston versus Atlanta 2016, in a first quarter, they only scored 7.
Y'all didn't learn? Oh my God. That would have been, let me think here, probably the last year that we had Teague, Horford, and all of them. Yeah. I low-key feel like we came back and won that series, though. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, no, we lost. Boston must have lost. Oh, that was the year Boston lost to, and when Boston had Tatum and Brown. Yeah, them boys was coming up. I remember that. Yeah. Uncut Hoops, you had me wondering about it. Okay. Uncut, you right. I remember that. Okay. I got you. I'm with you now. Okay, I'm with you. Let's go.
Also, very important context, 2 made field goals in a quarter is tied for the fewest ever, and the field percentage, 11.1, the 5th worst ever in a single quarter in NBA playoff history.
He's going to give you everything he has out there. He's just going to run the lanes and hit the
Clogged. That defense. Give me that. Watch this.
22 straight points for Boston.
Ain't nowhere to go. And Spud, you know you ain't going nowhere.
For this Boston team 4 years later, what everyone always goes to is a great offense and great team passing. And rightfully so. But looking at their defense, equally as dominant and equally as effective. As Boston 86, first in defensive rating, first in rebounds, first in points per percentage, and third in points per game allowed. And looking at their roster, the spearhead of their defense, Dennis Johnson, one of the greatest defensive guards of all time. And behind Dennis, what they were anchored by is guys like Walton, Parrish, and even Kevin McHale. Scoring this team in the paint was virtually impossible. In the perimeter, things weren't much easier. Now, looking past Boston's great defense and their offense, in this quarter, they didn't just score 36 points to close the quarter, a 24-0 run, on record, the biggest run in playoff history. Much like the 2014 Spurs, 2016 Warriors, everyone on Boston was a willing passer who could make the right play. As looking at Danny Ainge among shooting guards, 7th in assists. Larry for small forwards, ranked 2nd. McHale for power forwards, ranked 3rd. Walton among centers was 9th. And Parrish among centers was 10th. Out of the entire Boston starting 5, the only player who wasn't top 10 assists per position was Dennis Johnson. And Johnson overall for the NBA ranked 21st, or 2nd on the team, only behind Bird.
Solid.
When you have great passing 1 through 5, 1 through 6, the forwards, guards, and centers, that takes you from a great team to an all-time great team. And this Boston team undoubtedly is an all-time great team that would thrive in any era. As looking at their play style, they could shoot, post up, had great ball movement, could run the break, and above all else, were unselfish. If you want to watch great team basketball, great passing, making the extra pass, and not a lot of ISOs, watch the Celtics, Spurs, and Golden State Warriors. As looking at all those teams, it was me over we, the team over individual success. So that right there is the end of the video.
Now that was definitely another good one. Again, shout out to Heaven for requesting that we react to that one. I really enjoyed that. And it, like I said, it just goes to show how good these players are, how great they really are. The Spurs dynasty, the Celtics dynasty #1, and the Warriors dynasty. Klay Thompson wouldn't be Klay Thompson if he was on any other team that had a big ego guard who wanted to dribble, right? And to be with Steph, and Steph was, he came down that court, he got rid of that ball. He circled around and he got open again. So I really appreciate now watching that because when I was still, all on Bron, I didn't care for the Warriors at all, obviously. But now I can appreciate what they brought to the table. And I most certainly appreciate what the Celtics brought to the table. I've always been a Celtics hater. You just heard what they said they did to Mahomes. It was tough. Yeah, I liked how Kobe talked about playing with purpose, learning how to exploit the defense. Let that be a challenge to you when you're on offense. Can I break down this defense? Don't you call for a pick to try to get around and get you an open look? See if you can exploit the defense as a team. But anyway, that's all I got. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And as always, stay safe. On to the next one. Peace.